Welcome to the OEN Podcast, the podcast about opinions, events, and overall nothingness. We will discuss whatever is on our minds today, and we may or may not accomplish anything with it, but hopefully it will be enjoyable. Also, there is a good chance that listener discretion is advised. So please have a listen and let us know what you think about the discussion.
Okay, so cheers.
Cheers.
like-
Oh no, I had the dog chase the cat.
Oh, okay. So that cup, that glass looks like it's got a lid that goes on it. Is it like a mason jar?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but the lids, they don't. First off, just lids just don't last in this, like I think in anybody's house, and I can't drink out of a straw anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I remember they did have them, and they had these cheap plastic straws. And I think the lid's like tarnished or rusted or whatever.
Oh,
I
so
think
it had the
last out for.
hole in the top that had the. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looks a lot like the Spookeasy stuff.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Well, every year Walmart puts all of these back out. They're usually like I think like $1 to $5 each. They're dirt cheap.
Like at Halloween time, or
Yeah, they're like their little decor cheap seasonal section where they'll put out. Yeah, that they have the same mason jars every year.
okay.
What I can't find are the claw wine glasses that I used to have, and those broke, and they don't have any more of those. Haven't got any more in.
I've seen those like on Amazon. It's like a claw holding a cup or whatever, or like a dragon claw or a skull hand or not a skeleton hand. So yeah, I've seen those. So
Yeah. Mine looked really nice, and then everybody broke one.
mm,
Walmart hasn't had them since. That was like years ago. Mine were better than the ones on Amazon, and I paid like 50 cents each. And they were real glass and real metal. It was like really worth more than 50 cents each.
yeah. Huh, that's cool.
I covet my one skull glass that has survived everything else.
That's what matters. Just as long as it survives.
Yeah.
So,
But,
what'd you just finish watching?
okay, so I rewatched the remake of the 2002
Cabin Fever. That's right.
Now, I've got to agree with what the review said online. First off, a remake. But why? We didn't need one to begin with. Like, I got to agree. There wasn't a reason for one.
Yeah.
The first one left you with a question mark. This one left you with multiple question marks. And since I've seen Cabin Fever's Patient Zero, I know that those question marks are not going to be answered. And they did not do a remake of Cabin Fever 2. So Cabin Fever 2 is just going to kind of like be a standalone now. Now, the gore was a lot more in this one. Like, it was a bit intense for me. I was like, I'm looking down. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Oh, in the remake?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to watch that then. Ouch.
Yeah, it's so. As far as a remake, I was pretty blown away because you've seen like, well, they'll do remakes of classic horror movies and they butcher it. This, they actually followed the story for a B-rated series. They followed it pretty spot on. There was like one or two differences, but it was so much enough that it didn't affect the overall plot or the outcome.
Right.
But the ending was different, but not really, but not. And because technology like Facebook and smartphones wasn't so much a thing in 2002, it's more in the cover and the new one. I keep wanting to call it a cover and the remake. So there's a little bit more social media action in this, whereas there wasn't any in the original.
Okay. I'll have to watch that.
It's good.
Because it does.
But,
it
yeah,
sounds good.
The gore was. Because I mean, when they had all these signature gore scenes that was in the original, and so I knew what was coming. And this one with the girl with the razor, the tub, I was like,
Okay.
Nope, I'm not watching.
Now I don't remember ever seeing the original, so I'm not sure. So I'll check that
Yeah.
out. It's funny because I watched Sleepaway Camp a couple of
Yeah.
nights ago, and I'm like, I guess there's a cult following or something to it, but
Yeah.
it starts, and I'm like, oh my God, these are my high school years. And I looked, and yeah, it came out in 1993, or sorry,
Yeah.
1983. And so it is. You can very much tell that it's
Yeah.
1983, if nothing else, by the hairstyles and by the shorts that the dude counselor wears.
Yeah.
Straight up nut huggers. I mean,
The hoochie
oh my
shorts.
God, that's what I mean. They made us wear that crap in school, and I'm like, oh my God. But I had never seen it. I don't know. I'd never heard of it until a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and so I watched it, and it is very 1983
Yeah.
with the acting, with everything. But it was fun to watch. It was a fun movie to watch, and
Yeah.
looking at the guest list for Spooky Empire in June, most of the cast from Sleepaway Camp's going to be at Spooky Empire. So I'm actually really
Nice.
glad I watched it.
Very nice.
Yeah, and some of just the main people that were in it are going to be there. So you at least have to watch it before Spooky
Yeah.
Empire.
All right. I will.
So, but I also watched 825 Forest Drive, or
Yeah. I'm gonna watch that one tomorrow.
that is very unique. Hang on,
Yeah.
I want to get the right Forest Road, 825 Forest Road.
Yeah. It's on
So
Netflix,
yeah,
right?
that is yes, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
I changed the screen by accident, but yeah. So that is done by the director of the Hell House series, and so it is nowhere near a found footage movie.
Yeah.
But the way he does this, I don't recall seeing another movie that way. So there
Yeah.
are three main people within this family.
Yeah.
And so the way this movie goes is each one has a chapter.
Yeah.
So chapter one is the husband. Chapter two is the husband's sister. And
Okay.
chapter three is the wife. But what you do is you see, like his chapter, you watch everything as it goes through.
Yeah.
Then when they go to chapter two, being the sister, then the movie almost starts back over, and you see it from her perspective.
Yeah.
And then when chapter three, it's the wife, and it starts over and goes through her perspective. And
Yeah.
so it's a very unique way to do that. You're like, oh crap, I got to watch all this again. But they
Yeah.
actually do it in a way that keeps it interesting.
I
So
should check that out.
it is a very very unique way of
Yeah.
doing a movie. Yeah, no
I know it
spoilers at
read
all. So
differently. Yeah, no, I don't want spoilers. I know it read like it was done really differently. And that's when I was watching this new series on Shudder. It was anthology movie series. High horror in the high desert. And it's done weird because it's like it tells you it's a documentary style, but at the end of it is the found footage part. So the found footage is really of the movie's only like 20 minutes of it. And there's like multiple ones. I can't say if I recommend it or not because each time that it's gotten to the end of it,
yeah,
where it's time to see found footage, I've got to turn it off because it's time to make dinner. And I really got to be straight. I got really bored watching 10 minutes and nothing on found footage.
yeah. So what's it called?
It horror and high desert.
Horror.
Ragna, back up,
Hang on,
back up.
I'm trying to write it down.
You are not a cat. You're not that little.
High
Back up.
desert. I'll check it out.
Is it
No.
Screenbox or Shutter? It's one or the other.
Both of those fall up under my prime, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, mine too. Ragna, not a cat. Thinks he's a cat.
I see the puppy.
Thinks he's a cat trying to fit in his tiny little spot. Lay down.
Does he ever talk?
Mm-hmm. Just don't get him started. You won't turn him off. Seriously.
Because there's a lot of videos I've seen lately that have like huskies, and they'll do the talking when you talk to
Yeah.
them, and
No,
so that's kind of cool.
he'll talk at you. He throws a temper tantrum the most, and that's when he gets chatty. When he don't get his way. Or when when his way is food. It's like tonight he didn't get any pizza crust, and he was whiny about it.
I would be too.
This morning he didn't get any of my banana, and he was whining about it.
Yeah, nothing wrong
When
with
he's
that.
when he's whining, waiting for what I call his favorite human to wake up, which is Xander, he actually just sits and cries and whines. Like it's not a dog, cute, husky chatty. It's a steady, high pitched whine. Trust me. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah, he's
nice.
vocal. You don't want to get him going. Can't turn it off. No.
I don't know if you can see. Um, I've got my Starship venting back
Yes, I
there.
can.
You can see
Yeah,
it
I can.
venting. So it
Yeah.
vents for like 5 seconds and it stops, and then it'll start venting again. So
I had a nice, comfortable setup till somebody had to come along and make me change it.
is he
There
in
we
your
go.
lap now, or just beside you?
No, he's taken up like the entirety of everything
I
because
got
he's
you.
huge, a behemoth.
Copper will do that. He'll come
I'm
and
gonna
if I'm sitting
put
on
it
the
on top of
couch,
him.
he'll come and lay next to me. So see, I'm repping my.
Your art appreciation. I love that. I love it.
Well, it's too doggone hot to wear it in public.
Hmm.
So I figured. I mean, I keep the house a little cool, so I can wear it this evening. And
Yeah. Yeah, you would have been today would have been perfect for it because it was like a high 57 here
oh
today. It was
no, we had
freezing.
over 70 here today.
And tomorrow's like 67. Luckily, Monday concert day's the 80s.
Is that spackle behind you?
Yeah, from Xander's temper.
Okay.
Yep, that was
Okay.
last summer, and Xander decided to punch a hole in my wall,
Okay.
and we just hadn't painted over it because this is the paint that the house had,
Right.
and I planned on painting the living room. I just hadn't done it yet. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
So, well, I mean, I didn't know if it was like
I didn't
an
realize that it could be seen, but
yeah,
oh
yeah.
well.
So I looked and I'm like, I don't know if that's spackle or if it's just a thing on your camera, but see if you turn just a little bit, nope, the other way.
All right, right
Yeah,
there. It's
that's directly
fine.
behind your head. You can't even see it now. So
Yeah, that's raising life with ADHD bipolar kid.
it happens. It definitely
Yeah.
happens.
It's not the only place that he has put a hole in a wall in this house. There's quite a few.
Yeah. So
So
well, um, what do you got coming up anytime soon?
as far as
Anything?
events, I
Yeah,
mean, I've
whatever.
got pit crew at toughest. Um, yeah. So yeah, so I got the toughest where I'm pit crew, which I love pit crew, and so I'm gonna make sure I go over to where the Tough Mudder Angels are the toughest and make sure I try to pick crew a little for them because I noticed that during Worlds, Andrew's wife was and her little girl were going over there taking them water and food. So that's kind of my plan to help you stay awake while I'm pit crewing is go
Oh,
take care of the while they're out helping people all night long up and down Mutterhorn.
Mutterhorn. Okay.
Yeah. So and then from there I just got Fayetteville And then we've got Spook Empire in June. And so now that I found this other con in August, though, the Raleigh SuperCon we're not doing. So for 5 people to go to Raleigh SuperCon on Sunday only is $350 to
Yeah.
go to this 2-day convention for 5 people going 2 days each. $275 or 270
What
for
is it?
5 people. This is Anime Pop Collectibles Con. So this is like an anime and just it's just geek and comic collectibles
Okay.
and lots of Funko stuff. It's one of the bigger collectible ones. That's why I don't know if you saw the message that I'm gonna look for your art one there because they big thing they talk about is Funko collectibles. It's one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones.
Oh, you talking about my, what is it, 1593, I think?
Yeah, the one that you don't have.
91, 90, 92. Yeah, that'd be 93. I actually have that. I don't have it, but I have it pre-ordered on.
Okay, so you can find it.
Yeah. No, that one's good. Now, like you said, I don't know about the art and sienna in the bathroom.
Yeah, some people
I
have
have,
there.
yeah, I have not seen a pre-order or anything for that, and it may have been something somebody made up, and it's not even
Yeah.
being made. But that one is most definitely one I'm looking for.
Okay, so I'll keep my eyes out. And this is also a good one for the kids to see how they feel. And so like the my youngest stepkid B has already got a cosplay idea put together and they already have half of it and just need 2 things. So they're happy and good. And then my Dark Alice I do for Spook Empire will be done here. So
Okay, so you get a test run. Well, wait, is Spooky Empire first or that thing
yes,
first?
Spooky Empire's first.
Okay.
The comic what's called the anime one. The anime one is in August. So
Okay.
that'll be like, yeah, we'll be doing 2 birthdays in one that weekend, basically, because Chris's birthday's in July and Alex is in August. So we could 2 in 1 there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I actually got to do measurements tomorrow to send to my mother for my cosplay.
What did she sew?
Oh, so this is where it's like it's embarrassing, but it's not because I know people will laugh at the whole my mommy's making my costume.
Fuck it.
Growing up, my mom made all my Halloween costumes, and I would wear them constantly, especially Snow White. It was like my play dresses, and I would cry when I had to get out of them to wash them. So this is kind of like that too. My mom's gonna make my cosplay dress, and it's a cosplay dress that, like those costumes back then, I will wear multiple times.
Okay.
So it's just I wanted one last. So it's something sweet for me and my mom too. I wanted one last Halloween costume for my mother. So she's on board with it. She'll just let me know how much everything costs, send her the money. And she just said, all the creepy stuff, you can do that. I'm just going to make the outfit. Yeah, add the creepy stuff to it.
Okay. Yeah, you had the rips or the blood or whatever.
And
Okay.
the alchemy symbols and all that.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
I
actually
don't,
glad you told me about the hotel with the blood stuff. So I didn't
yes.
get charged any extra for Tampa.
Well, I tried my best to scrub everything because I got the bathtub and the sink, but I'd lesson stains over by the mural with the red paint
Well,
too.
and between you and Ansley, I mean, there were probably 3 wash rags that were just destroyed. So,
Yes.
but I mean, they didn't. In fact, I gave them a good rating, and they wrote me back and said, "Hey, we appreciate the nice reference."
Yeah.
So they didn't say, "Oh,
So,
by the way, you fucked up 3 rags," but so it was okay, I
yeah.
guess.
Usually hotels don't care about those, but there are the ones, and that's why I was like being cautious at this last one with the cosplay because usually when your convention's in your hotel, they get meticulous of it with
Oh yeah, I
towels.
mean because
So I'll
people,
bring my own
yeah,
towels.
well, people fuck that place up when you're talking body paint, or perma blood or whatever. I mean, if they can clean it up at all, it would take weeks to clean that shit up.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think I would need perma blood there. I mean, she doesn't really have fake blood on her arm or her face. It's just on the dress.
yeah,
So I don't really have any actual cosplay related. And it's not face paint. It's like normal makeup. So
right.
it's really just the outfit.
Well,
So it's
the purple blood is some cool shit.
yeah, I liked that because that was good on Ansley.
Yeah, that is some cool shit. It is expensive, but it's very
I didn't,
cool.
but I didn't think it was honestly that expensive when I looked at it. I was expecting more than that. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
No, I mean,
because
like,
now, granted, I knew it was from that vendor that you had showed me at Day of the Dead. So
yeah.
know that prices at the conventions are high, so I just and it's Etsy, so I automatically assume it's going to cost more. So when I saw, I think it was like $25, I was like, that's not that bad. I was expecting like 45.
Well, it was like $25 for like 8 ounces.
I don't need a lot.
It's yeah, and that that's a good thing because I think I've already used up one complete bottle, and then I had the well right there. That bottle's about half full.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but that I believe is like I can't get my finger. There we go. Is about it's either I think it's a 16 or 20 ounce bottle,
yeah,
and it was like $32 or so. So
yeah,
it's not cheap, but it
yeah,
is the best dadgum blood I have ever used.
yeah.
That is a
Well,
weird thing to say, but I mean, like my Dale in a box thing that I did
yeah,
for Halloween. The blood on it is just immaculate because I poured it along the edge of the box,
yeah,
and it goes down into drips, and then it dries, but they look like wet drips. Even now, 5 months after the fact, they still look like wet drips, and so
yeah.
it is just amazing blood.
Oh, I do have
It's
one
just
thing coming
weird.
up. I keep forgetting I have it coming up. Monday, I have the Disturbed concert.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yep. I keep forgetting that's coming up
yep. Yeah, because originally we were going to do the Ren Fair,
this
Georgia,
weekend,
yeah,
and
the
I was
Georgia
going
Ren
straight
Fair.
there.
So I did get a message from Tegan asking me
Yeah.
about Sunday, that's tomorrow. And I told her that Angie's got prom tonight, so we couldn't go. And so I told her we'd be looking another weekend. I just don't know when. I hadn't even looked. She's kind of been flighty in and out of here this week, so I haven't
Yeah.
haven't figured out a weekend for us to go. But since I'm missing this one, I don't really care if she can pick whatever weekend she wants now, and it doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
really wanted to do the Viking Barbarian weekend, but the fact that it was opening weekend, it was just slammed in there this weekend. Plus, it's nice weather here,
Yeah.
so we'll figure out a weekend and go. I mean, we've gone the last 2 or 3 years, and hey, it's a decent day. It's a
Yeah.
nice day out, and we went pirate one time. We went the final weekend one time, and then we went to I don't remember what the other one was. So it's actually been the last 3 years we've gone.
Yeah.
So we will definitely go back. And just the fact that the Georgia Renaissance Festival, I mean, this place stays there year round.
Yeah.
So all the shops, all that stuff are there. All the buildings are there year round. And so it's not something they pop up, for a weekend and then travel somewhere else. The vendors come in, but the vendors actually own their stores. So they
Yeah.
come in and they set up. And the whole thing from the front gate to the back portion is probably well over a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And then it's fairly wide too, and of course you have the jousting arena and all that kind of stuff, and they have like fair rides, but they're fair rides from the time
Yeah.
back then, so they're all like people powered,
Yeah.
and just a really really neat. I mean, I'd heard about the thing, but I'd never had any intentions of going until Ann's made me go, and we went, and it's like, it's pretty good. Their mead is gross, but other than that, the food is good.
Yeah.
And then, they got normal beers. So I don't have to drink their nasty mead.
Yeah. Ours is like that. It's set up year round. It's like a village, a town in
Mm-hmm.
itself. They've got their buildings. They don't, they don't shut down or anything. They um they open in September, about I think it's into September, and then they close in about mid November. Yeah.
Oh wow. So yeah,
So
ours starts in April and goes all
yeah,
the way to, I think, Memorial Day weekend is the final
yeah,
weekend. They actually have it open on that Monday, but then they open up again through October because they make it a haunted village during that time.
yeah. No, but then we do have the Viking Festival. That's the 2 weekends back to back. And there's like another.
Is it in the same spot?
There's no, no. And then there's another one. I can't remember when. No, because the one that the Viking Festival I went to was almost 2.5 hours away,
Oh,
and this one's about 2 hours away.
okay. But the Michael Myers house is only an hour away.
Yeah, that one's only an hour away.
You need to go to that.
I probably will.
That is, for only being an hour away, I would
And it's
definitely
only
go.
$3 a person.
Right, to go in. Yeah.
At a minimum, it's whatever you donate, but a minimum donation is $3.
So for people that don't know, a guy has completely recreated the Michael Myers house from Halloween, and I'm looking it up real quick. And let's see, where are we? We're in, yeah, life-size replica of the infamous Michael Myers house from John Carpenter's 1978 classic Halloween in rural Hillsborough, North Carolina. And it literally, let's see,
Which, if
wrong one. There we go. So, like, you can't see it, but everybody else, if anybody's watching the video, like all two people that watch this, can see it. But it's showing the Michael Myers house, and just like the construction pics and all that stuff. But that is freaking cool to me. That
And if
is,
I'm and I know I think it's freaking awesome. But what I think is even great is, if I remember correctly, there's some. It's either Hillsborough or we've got a few like borough areas because there's Greensboro, which is where I first lived when I moved here. Then there's Hillsborough, and there's like one more borough.
yeah,
But I believe Hillsborough has a couple of haunted areas as well. I know there's a hill that, like, if you park at the top or something like that, there'll be the pushy push. But there's something else besides the hill that's some weird stuff out there.
huh,
That'd be
weird.
interesting.
That is.
I know because I've hinted it to Ansley for her podcast. We also have the Devil's Tramping Ground, but that's not in Hillsborough. But that is one of the. I can't remember. I want to say it's in the top 10 to the top 20, but I think it's the top 10 America's mysterious spots is the Devil's Tramping Grounds in North Carolina. And it's about an hour away, maybe an hour and a half. I've wanted to go, and you can go. I mean, it's open. It's free land. It's wooded area, but it's this just giant circle that nothing will grow in whatsoever. And then, of course, there's rumors where people spent the night and they would wake up somewhere else in the woods, or cameras would get smashed, like weird stories of people who spend the night, and
That's
a couple
cool.
of Boy Scout stories. So, um, supposedly somebody spent the night and they successfully stayed the whole night. They woke up there, but then a couple of months later, they went completely crazy and spent the rest of their lives in a lunatic asylum.
Huh.
So it's just, the rumor is that the devil tramps at night, and that's why nothing can grow there.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that. And where is
So
that?
it's in North Carolina. I don't
You said
exactly know where, but
the devil's what?
tramping ground. I think it's like an hour and 45 minutes away. It's not too terribly far.
Tramping ground. Devil's Tramping Ground is a legendary barren patch of woods in Bear Creek, North Carolina. popular camping destination, subject of many paranormal. So wherever Bear Creek, North Carolina is.
Yeah,
So,
there. It's
ooh,
the
you
middle
have
of
a
nowhere.
stalker.
Oh, it's my cat.
So, about that Barren Patch, there's a thing if you do a ghost tour in Savannah, there's actually one of the squares in Savannah, and I don't remember which one it is, but they hung a witch,
Yeah.
in the square, and so in Savannah, Spanish moss grows all over the place.
I've been to Savannah.
Yeah, in this square, the Spanish moss will not grow on the side of this square where she was hung. It will grow everywhere else, but it will not grow. And I want to say it's on the north side of it, but I
Yeah.
don't really remember. But it will not grow in that square on that side of the square where she was hung. And there's a lot of ghost tours that actually start in that square or end in that square.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of cool. When you said the barren thing,
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing in Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah and Georgia as a whole, but definitely Savannah has a lot of haunts.
Supposedly the second most haunted city in the U.S.
But Savannah's so rich in holster. Look at me, I'm
Holsters. Yeah.
Holsters. It's a new word. I'm combining history and
Yeah.
culture. It's working great. But it's rich in both history and culture and a lot of islands in the process.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a lot. Just like it's low key, but Memphis has a lot of haunts. Especially the Oriental Metal Museum. It's got its fair share because of all the culture that's embedded in it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, you go to Memphis, you got to worry about getting shot. So.
Yeah.
I being
No, I
completely
spend
honest.
majority of my time in Memphis. I
Yeah.
know.
Being
I mean,
completely honest, you got to worry about it in Savannah these days too.
yeah.
So.
But really, ages, I want to say about really 18 to 19, up until when I moved to North Carolina, I was in Memphis 24/7. But I lived extremely close, and everybody I was friends with was in Memphis. So it was just always in Memphis. Oh yeah, no, you ran the red lights, especially if you were white. You just kept going.
Yep, nope. I would stop in just outside of Memphis, get gas, and speed right through it. I would never
Because
stop.
when I first started racing, I was looking up all the races, and it surprised me that Memphis, Tennessee didn't get one, or Mississippi. And Chris raised a very valid point. Why? The whole obstacle is to not get shot
Yeah,
or get your
exactly.
stuff mugged.
Yeah,
That's probably why the crime is so bad. And I'm like, it's true.
it really. He's definitely got a point. It's not. That's. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just the way a lot of stuff is. But you just, you avoid it. You move on. And that's kind of it. Did you turn on?
Yeah. No, it's slowly getting darker.
So literally, it looks like
No, it's
okay,
TV.
okay, it's TV. I was like, it literally looks like you got a fire going
No,
because everything's kind of flashing. So
no, it's just TV. So now we did one podcast where all of it got lost because the audio was bad, and it was I was set up like this. I was in the living room, had the music going,
no,
and it was really late. Except for I looked like a horror movie then.
no, my audio was bad.
Yeah,
Not the audio. It was my audio.
but it could have honestly been mine because think about that was the first time I had used this headset too.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I literally, so evidently this thing when I close out OBS, when I bring it back up, unless I have everything powered up, it doesn't recognize my microphone. So
Yeah.
I have to go in and tell it, hey, I'm using this microphone because I've got a headset with microphone. I've got this one that goes into the mixer. I've got multiple ones. So I literally, since they've upgraded it, I have to tell it I am using this microphone. And
Yeah.
so I just didn't realize that time because something was hearing me. I don't know if it was my webcam or whatever, but something was hearing me a little bit. And so it was showing my mic hearing something, but it just wasn't loud enough. So
Yeah.
now I actually go in, I do a test recording before we hook up and make sure everything's good. Because that's how I found out my damn microphone was unplugged tonight.
Yeah.
And it was unplugged from the microphone, which
Okay.
there is a button that has to be pushed
Yeah.
to unplug it from the microphone. So how it got unplugged, I have no idea. No,
Weird
don't.
stuff's
No,
happening.
I just doors opening, microphones being unplugged.
I had a freaking bite on my shoulder and this
The
weird freaking pattern. I
that
still
was
have a
a
picture of
the
it.
little four pattern thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a weird pattern.
So maybe letting Annabelle watch all those paranormal videos might not have been the best idea.
You need to do a salt circle around Annabelle. I keep saying it. One day you'll do it.
Oh, and I just added to it by putting a print of Valak next to her.
But what I
So
don't know if Valak was actually based off a real entity though. Now, whether they based it off a real entity from mythology, yeah, probably. But I mean, as far as did the Warrens ever deal with that demon? I don't know. So
yeah,
that one you might not be playing with fire. Annabelle is a real doll
that's true.
that's possessed. Because I mean, I believe that Annabelle was possessed.
So I'm gonna
Um,
swap over to. So anybody that actually watches the video, oh
yeah.
shit, wrong one. Damn it. There we go. So this is actually my Annabelle creation, and then the Valak. This is the same picture I sent you on email. The Valak print done by Tim Edwards that I got at Spookala. So it was just a really good addition to to my Annabelle corner. I'm not sure it was the smartest addition, but it's
Tell
definitely
you what, when I come back in June, for Spooky Empire, we'll see if I get another little pattern bite on my freaking shoulder. I'll let you know. So we're putting a salt circle around Annabelle
So I sent
and
this
Valak.
I sent this picture to some friends at work, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Nope." They're like, "I would be having nightmares every night," and I'm like, "This." To me, it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would creep me out in my own house, but I would still do it. It's the good kind of creep factor.
It is. It is definitely a creep factor, and if to be honest with you, if I have somebody over to the house that's like, heavily religious, they will probably leave.
Because then you probably won't have them at your house.
Yeah.
So half
Well,
the
no.
is viewed.
Hell, anybody's invited to my house, but they come in and they see Annabelle with the devil card next to her, and then they see this fucking demon nun next to her. Yeah, whatever. It.
Yeah, like I said, I believe in the things that go bump in the night, and I would have it in my house. And I believe it would be very much opening up the door to my house, too, but I would still do.
That is, yeah, speaking of open doors, I mean, that's the kind of shit that gets me. So
I know, but it's like, I know there's a perfectly good, excuse, but it's just like, that's also, from the pagan standpoint, that's also one hell of a message from the universe right there.
well,
Given the rain and all of it, it's just like, that's a neon sign of something.
but what got me was how nonchalant you were about it. I mean,
I didn't feel anything was. I know it's weird. It's like a sixth sense. if you feel somebody is in there, it's just you're gonna feel it in between your shoulder blades. It's an
Right. I
itch.
agree.
And
I
I
agree.
just nothing felt off. I walk in, I was like, huh,
Okay, so
doors are open.
yeah.
But in my defense, I guess maybe I was calm because I literally thought you came in the front door.
Mm,
But at the same time, nothing really felt off.
right.
And I mean, I do, I don't know if you believe in the things that go bump in the night and that people can sense offness at places, but have sensed offness at some places. Like there have been some Airbnbs where I really didn't want to fuck off be there. Your house is beyond chill.
Uh, uh,
There's no something's there vibe to me yet, but I will say the shoulder thing really did kind of freak me out because that was a pattern and that's really weird.
yeah. So quick backstory for, like I said, all one or both people that listen to this.
One or
So
both.
yeah, so we were gone all weekend. Brittany traveled down here on Thursday, and then me and her and Ansley were here in the house. We traveled Friday, went down to Tampa. We were at Spookala for the entire weekend. Drove back Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. Got back Sunday evening, and pull up to the house and don't think anything about it. And then you're you come in the house first. I don't know what you were taking, but Brittany takes something into the house first, and she comes back out to the garage, and she's like, your front door's open. And I'm like, no, I did not notice that. She said, yeah, your front door's open. And did you tell me the back door was open too?
No, so I came in, I was taking in suitcases, mine and Nance's,
Okay.
and it was raining, but it wasn't raining like bonkers hard. But it was sounded like it was raining bonkers hard inside your house, so that's why I was like, front door's open. So that's when I went outside and I asked Ansley, did your dad go into the front door? And she's like, no, why? That's when I was like, front door's open. But no, back door, no, that was you. You found that one.
So you didn't even notice the back door was open. Okay.
No, because the front door was so open, I could
Yeah.
hear it sounded like it was raining in your living room.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So when you came out and said, "Hey, your front door's open," I'm like, "Y'all stay right here." Now, anybody that knows me knows I travel with a gun. I do not hardly ever leave the house without a gun. So I had the gun in the vehicle with us. So I took it. I walked in, front door. Oh, actually, you had shut the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the front door was already shut, but the back door, when I walked in, was wide open. And as I walked through the back door, then I realized the door to I have a porch that has a sliding glass door that goes to the back door. It was open as well. So I closed all the doors, and then I started meticulously going through the house, going through every room, going through every closet, going through every door, every bathroom, everything. And went around and literally was gonna use a wireless hole puncher on anybody that was in the house, but there ended up not being anybody. I think what had happened, a storm had actually come in about 30 minutes before we came home. Friday morning, we were out on the back porch,
Yeah.
drinking coffee, just sitting there waiting for Ansley to wake up. So we were out on the back porch. So we had that back door open. We had the sliding glass door open. We had the kitchen door open. And so I'm thinking while we were getting everything ready, we just didn't latch everything. And I've actually had my back door blow
Yeah.
open in the past because
Yeah.
I left the other door open, and a storm had come through and blown my back door open. So it has happened before.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably what happened.
I don't ever recall going out the front door. the front
No.
door would have had to have been unlatched. And if it's unlatched, then the back door slams open with with the big, especially with the storm that came through. Big gust of wind blows it open. The negative pressure is gonna pull the door open. I mean that happens all the time. But I just flat don't remember going out that front door.
Yeah.
I may have. It was Friday. We were leaving, and a lot of times my trash day is Friday, and so when there's trash out by, I put my can out by the road, and if I have extra trash bags or whatever, I do go out the front door and put it in there and come back in. So because it was Friday, because the trash can was out there, I very well could have gone out the front door. I don't remember doing it, but I could have. But the fact that you're gone all weekend and you come in and your fucking back door and your fucking front door are both open, that's some freaky shit.
It's
So,
just weird. It is kind of weird, yeah. I mean, no, it's a lot a bit weird. It's more than kinda. I, I don't know. I guess in those types of situations, I'm a calm person. I guess it's a good thing.
I was like, yeah, you walked out and you're like, hey, your front door was open, so I closed it. I'm like, what? The fuck?
At least I'm great at delivering weird news.
Yeah.
Maybe that's from my time in the fire department. It rubbed off.
Maybe. But, I mean, long story short, nobody was here. Everybody, we slept in 3 different rooms that night. Nobody got harmed. There's been nothing. Nothing was moved. Nothing was changed. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was anything. So I literally think it was a storm.
Probably.
But just fucking weird from coming back from a horror convention.
It really is. I'm gonna be honest. That really, really, really is. And especially since you came back with Valak.
Yeah.
Put next to Annabelle.
Exactly.
So you put the set together. So yeah.
But they weren't together yet.
No, but they were coming together.
They were coming together. So yeah, it was kind of fucked up.
Was concentrated.
Yeah, it was kind of fucked up.
But. So just don't ever make a Ouija board and put it there.
No. So you know what?
No.
I'll mess around with a lot of shit, but Ouija boards, I
have never, ever have I even messed with one, and I'm just gonna keep that going.
Oh, I did. I mean, as a kid, hell, we didn't care. We messed. I never saw one work, but no, I've watched enough shit to where I won't. I'll fuck around with a lot of stuff, but a Ouija board ain't one of them.
Well, so how I was raised, they were, as you can imagine, not allowed anywhere near me. So by the time I was actually got to have my hands on one, I was a teenager, like 16. And so at that point, I already knew, don't mess with them. So I just never messed with them. That's smart. It
is. That's actually smart. Because you look, I mean, a lot of things you see, it's basically if you don't close it or you do it wrong or whatever, you could invite something bad coming at you. So
that, and I swear, since as long as I can remember, I was haunted growing up. There was something in my parents' house, there was something at my grandparents, there was something, it just seemed to follow me. I don't know if you or Ansley were actually listening when I was talking about that at the hotel. Y'all were zoned out, but I've had weird occurrences my whole life. So I knew really also not to mess with it because I already had something messing with me.
When were you talking about that?
Did you not hear me talk about the time that a glass exploded in the middle of my room at my parents' house?
Yes, that I remember-ish.
That around that time.
Okay.
So I didn't go into detail. I just said as long as I can remember, I've been personally haunted.
I gotcha.
And there was a lot of weird stuff growing up at my parents' house that did happen. But as an adult, with Xander alive, there was weird stuff when I had to move back in there. Weird stuff happened with papers that would start flying around the room when there was no AC on, no fan, no floor fan, no circulation, no windows open. The glass just exploding in the middle of the floor. Just really weird stuff.
So when we're doing this, it's just me and you, so you actually have my attention.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, Yeah, it's female voice in one ear, out the other. It just kind of works that way. So
I kind of gathered. Spartan's trying to decide if he's going to get comfortable. I kind of gathered
I didn't
because
know
I
if
got
you were
done
like getting ready
talking.
to go toast or what, because you had
Well,
held it
here.
up and.
Well, I've got a cat that's trying to decide what to do. But yeah, here, toast, because fuck ghosts. I don't know. No, it didn't, I say knock on wood, it didn't follow me to North Carolina, but there are times where even in this house where it's just like something's not right, something's unsettled. I've had stuff fall off the walls that we'd nailed to the walls, but arguably could have been a weak point, understandably, but just weird stuff. Weird stuff happened around me at church, even. Of all places, church.
This is,
So
I don't know. This is probably where I say, better you than me. You know?
well, now this instance was weird, so it could have been a person, in all honesty. My mom used to clean the church. Her and the preacher's wife cleaned the church, and so I would help. So I'm upstairs cleaning the upstairs area while the kids' classes were, and I have to go into this little small like furnace room to get trash bags and a trash and some trash can stuff. And I have a really just not good vibe, and I'm like, I don't know, probably like 14 at the time, about opening that door. I don't know why. I clean up there alone all the time, always did, so it's never an issue. But this day, I didn't like it being up there. So I open the door and this metal pole flies at me. And I slam the door. And this is an old church building, and these are old metal doors. They slam hard. And so I beeline downstairs to mama. I left my cell phone upstairs in the room and everything. I knew where everything was. And so I go downstairs and I'm yelling at my mom, there's somebody upstairs, there's somebody upstairs. And she's like, no, 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 you heard things, you heard things. And as soon as she says that, it was great timing because we hear the door slam and we hear footsteps. Someone's running like a bat out of hell. So we bat out of hell out. And we go literally 5 minutes down the road. My grandparents lived literally down the road. Got my papa, and papa goes to the church. He goes and he looks and never found nobody. But all the doors upstairs had been opened when they weren't all opened yet. My mama's glass that she had just Windex perfectly was covered in handprints. Nobody was at the church but us. Really weird. They got cameras installed shortly after that.
Wow. That's
I never
cool,
cleaned up.
but not cool.
Yeah, I never cleaned upstairs alone ever again. That freaked me out.
See, I like watching other people deal with it. I don't want to deal with it.
No. Ugh. But now it's like, yeah, that was probably somebody had broken into the church because there were ways that you could climb if you knew what you were doing up to the second stair, the second part of it, and get into a window that had not been locked. So there are ways to probably get into the church because nobody really probably thought to lock those windows up on the second story.
Yeah, but was anything missing or
No,
see?
but you could have. The right behind us was, I kid you not, South Park Apartments.
Which
South Park.
is,
South Park, the cartoon.
yeah.
So every night we would hear gunshots. Every Wednesday night, Wednesday night class, gunshots. Sunday night, gunshots. It was literally the South Park like ghetto-ness of that
Oh,
cartoon was that apartment complex. So
okay.
it's very probability that somebody was up there, but it was just like really, really weird because it wasn't like, a couple of handprints because she had just Windex. It was a lot of
And
handprints.
that was downstairs.
Hmm.
So, literally, if somebody would have broke in through the upstairs, it'd have gone out the same way. They wouldn't have gone
You would think.
downstairs and wipe their hands all over a window and leave. You
And so
know.
the way that worked is there were two entrances to upstairs that we called them the stairwells. And again, the old building. So the first door you open is this metal door, and it's got this old metal like click and open.
Yeah.
And then you go up metal stairs to the second door, and then bam, you're up there. So very old building. And then you just walk dead end, make a left, same type of stairs. So there's two ways in and out. But again, it's like how
I got you.
and so
That's
yeah, and
cool.
yeah, that was very strange. But yeah, they did install cameras after
Okay.
that
I,
upstairs.
I say cool, not exactly,
Yeah.
but so I just thought about something that you haven't been able to publicly discuss,
What?
and I think it would be kind of cool that you did.
Hmm. About
Who did you get to meet
oh,
last weekend?
yeah, because I haven't made any
I
posts.
know, I know.
Barely anybody
So
knows about Christopher
so
Judge.
you can do it now.
Yep. So I met finally. Although it's not that I waited 20 years to meet Christopher Judge. I feel bad saying that, but if you're a gamer, you get it for all the two people that watch this that are not gamers, probably.
Exactly.
The whole thing was to meet Kratos. So, and Christopher Judge does such a phenomenal job with acting that to me, he brought Kratos to life. So it was like a 20-year, I really want to meet Kratos to where I finally get to meet Kratos and hug Kratos because he just always seemed like he needed a hug because he's always frowning.
I would pull
And
up the
I'm a
pictures,
hugger.
but I took them with your phone, so
Yeah. But I didn't even think about that. You would have to save them. So
yeah.
I could send them to you. You can add them with the thingy.
I can add them with the outro. So yeah, you can send them and all
Yeah.
that.
But that was really amazing. That was a real big full circle moment. Especially the things that he said and he shared really there were two things that was just like well there was the main thing he did that hit my feels which for my kid. To give Xander the free picture and autograph with quote was the most amazing thing ever.
That was like, I mean, if anybody else would have gotten that done, that was what, about $100 worth of stuff.
Over, I was about 130 because it came with a quote.
Right.
And a quote was an additional $30.
Okay. So
And Xander's face, though, because I gave it to him literally in the driveway. That's how excited I was because he met me, because he was the only one home. So he met me in the driveway when I got
yeah,
home. And I was like, don't look. And so I pulled it around. I said, this is from literally Christopher Judge to you. And he read it and his eyes just teared up.
that's
And
awesome.
Christopher Judge is going to be at the one that's in August here in Charlotte.
Oh,
He announced it on his on X right after Spookala.
yeah.
So I was like, so I told Xander about it. I was like, how do you feel about getting a selfie, me, you, and Christopher Judge? And he was like, yes.
That's awesome.
So won't do an autograph. We already have autographs. So, already got it. I don't really feel a need to pay for another autograph. But to do a selfie, the three of us, unless Xander has something he wants autographed, I'd pay for that. But just the three of us,
Right.
that would be the most, yeah, that would be very most amazing.
So I've never heard of the guy. I'm not a gamer. I don't know Kratos. I don't know any of that shit. But to, I stood there and watched the two of you interact.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most genuine people I've seen. When he listened to your story, then he
Yeah.
told his story. He literally gives a shit about his fans. And I don't know the guy from Adam's House Cat,
Yeah.
but I'm a fan just because of the way I watched him interact with not just you, but everybody before you too. I
Yeah.
was watching him, and he was just such a nice guy. You know,
He
I
was.
I don't even put into it that me standing there, he acknowledged me and shook my hand a couple of times and all that, and I'm like
Yeah.
that. Because I wasn't there for that. It was
Yeah.
I was just there keeping you company and taking the pictures for you.
Yeah.
But the guy was so genuine and just so freaking nice that even though I don't even know who he is, I'm a fan. Just a
Yeah.
really really good guy.
It's like, you do hear people say, don't meet your heroes. And it was like, yep, you know what? I have no regrets. Because he is an anti hero. Because Kratos, especially the first three games, he's not a good guy. Like, he is, but he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he kills all the gods and he takes out half of Greece. Like, he will kill civilians if they get in his way. Like, they're going down. So he's an anti hero. But in 2018 games introduced Christopher Judge, he's
I'm
going
actually
through
okay
this
with that.
major. right? He's going through the. I mean, you're playing him, so you're the one that's actually killing him.
I'm
Because
actually
when I
okay
kill
with
him, I
it.
get health. It's like you kill the civilians, you get health orbs. You want to kill them for the health orbs.
Fuck them all.
Exactly, because you gotta go defend the city so that they live, but you
Yeah.
killed them all so that you live defended their city. But the point is a fucking Hydra. But the point that growth that he came in the 2018 game, and when I picked it up, was just like a year into starting training for Spartan. It felt like yet again I was resonating with the same character, literally just a different area of my life. But he was going on this major growth journey with his son, and throughout the game, he changed in that growth. He had just a turning point, and there was a lot of way of how he treated his son. That I mean, I imagine if single dad raising a little girl, it's going to be hard on a dad. And some could argue that single moms raising a boy is harder. You don't really know. Personally, I think the dads are going to have it harder with the girl. But as a mom raising a boy from 6 months old by myself, the struggle be real,
Yeah.
especially dealing with trauma, working 2 jobs, at times 3 jobs, trying to make ends meet. It was just unreal. So there were times where I was that cold mom, where I kind of like how Kratos would treat him, because now he's a single dad who doesn't know how to have feelings. And so he's just really cold. And there's a point in their journey where he stops being like that with Atreus. And like me and Xander had our own point after we moved to North Carolina where I stopped being kind of cold at times. And it's where I guess I felt like I could relax because maybe we were safe. I didn't have to do everything. I got to be a mom for once, like all of that maybe, but I started to kind of melt and de-ice, and I didn't have that wall up between me and Xander anymore.
Right.
So that is why the 2018 game in Christopher Judge also, and again, meant so much. And that's why I had told him when Xander, because that scene is when Xander was talking to me. That's like me and you. That was that scene that I had talked to Christopher Judge about, where he had that moment with his son, where he realized I've got to be a dad, not a leader type thing. And so that was that scene. So yeah, it would be really great to take Xander to get that picture made, but
Yeah,
that was,
that'd be cool. I mean, the
it's
guy.
so weird achieving a non-athletic dream, but it's something that spawned the whole athletic dream to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just like I've told a few race friends, and they're like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
get it." You know, when you're at that age, because the first God of War came out just 2.5 weeks before I lost Jack, so it was like right there.
Right.
And when you're at that, and you had the situations I had going on, you really didn't have anywhere to go. You had nobody to look up to, no outlet you could get to. So I had a video game character and a controller. That was it. That's what I aspired to be, and that's how I got through it. So it's like that to me is why that was more important. That's my Metal Monday that meant more than I could have gotten at Charlotte Sprint.
Okay.
And I mean, I did actually go to make a post, Metal Monday, different kind of post, but I wasn't ready to go back to social media, so I didn't do it.
Ain't no
But for me,
issues, but when you
that,
do, that needs to be your first.
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It will. I don't know if it'll be how long, but
It doesn't matter. You know what?
it felt really good though to have him tell me that hearing what I had to say, it reminded him why he was doing it.
Yeah.
And he needed that. And that meant the fucking world
Yeah.
to me.
So just to recap a little bit, all right, to get this guy's signature on just one of his stock pictures was like $70.
Yep.
And then to get his picture autographed and then to get a picture with him was $100. And then if you wanted a quote that Kratos says in the game was another $30. So like you said, $130. He hears your story and then he's like, grab one of those pictures, which is a picture of Kratos. He takes it over. He literally signs it to Xander and adds a quote from the game to him and signs it. So basically, because he didn't get a picture, all right. So it's still $100 worth of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
Anybody else would pay $100 for it, and he just does it just because he was touched by your story
Yeah.
about Xander. That was just fucking amazing to me.
Yeah. Well, I had told him because I don't know if you had heard me. I had told him that when I had picked up the game was right when I had lost my first son. My first son
Right.
was stillborn.
So no, I didn't
And
listen to the
yeah,
conversation. I stood back taking pictures.
yeah. So I told him because had lost his daughter at the beginning of the game. That's how you pick up the game. He had lost his daughter and his wife. Now, granted, he did kill them, but he was tricked into doing it, so it's not technically his fault. But that resonated, having just lost my kid and had lost my husband by the time I picked up the game.
Right.
So it was just, it hit that. But I didn't go into that much. I just said I had, my son had been stillborn, and having, picked up this game, Kratos had lost his own kid, that hit, and that game became my outlet to survive. So then I told him, but fast forward to 2018, I've got my own son now, who was about 17 at the time. Actually, he's a little bit younger, about the same age as Atreus. And that's, about where you had heard, I'd said, and, Xander was like, that's like me and you, Mom. And that's when he had said, hand him the picture.
Right.
So
That was just amazing. I mean, I've only been to a few of these. I've only been to like 4 now. But that was the coolest thing
it blew me away.
I've seen anybody do.
Yeah,
prior to that was with Samantha, who just talked, had a full conversation with everybody. But the fact that Christopher Judge literally said, grab another picture, I'm going to sign this for your son, that was fucking amazing.
That was the absolute best part.
Absolutely. So that right there was worth your entire trip down there.
And we did it all. I did that whole weekend to honor Jax's birthday that weekend. And so to get that from him for Xander on that weekend just made it even like that much better.
That's true. That I didn't even put those two together, but you're right. That's
that little ADHD brain there. But yeah.
That is friggin' amazing. So I mean, well worth the trip. So.
I really liked that you caught that picture of, like, I was standing there staring at it with my goofy ass smile where I can't breathe. Because it's, where I picked up the Kratos picture that I had purchased and I'm waiting my turn in line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you actually caught that picture. So the opening to the God of War game the very opening is Kratos is committing suicide. He's jumping off a ledge. He's killed his wife and kid. He's had it. He's done. But the gods don't let him die, so that's when he declares fate and that he's never going to do that again. That was playing through my head because I remembered every time I couldn't or didn't think I could fight the urge, I was picking up that controller to play that game. And it was that scene that grabbed me.
Wow.
And I was like, never again will I stand on that ledge. Because at that point, I had already attempted suicide on more than one occasion. So I was like, never again am I standing on this ledge. Because I'm like, if that person in this video game can go take everything down, well, fuck. That's what I'm going to aspire to be like.
Nice. All right. That's fucking cool.
You caught that. So I liked that you caught that picture because I'm really, even though my smile, I say it's like goofy, I know to me that's a very peaceful, happy smile because I'm feeling like, some growth and some healing coming full circle there.
Right.
So, because I'm like, damn, I've checkmarked a lot of dreams in the past 4 years.
Just one more right there.
Yep.
So
okay.
that's.
I think I'm kind of done with them now. I ain't
Nope.
got much more left.
Nope, you got more. There's always more. There's always more. I don't know what the fuck they are, but there's always more.
Well, you tend to show up for them. So you want to jump out of a plane again? There is that dream.
Oh, goddamn. So here's here's the deal. Because you are a tandem with an instructor, I don't have to fucking be there. So what you want is me on the ground taking pictures of you
passed out.
As you come down, as you're on the, on your, you don't get a whole lot because you jump from like 15,000 feet. So you don't get a lot in the free fall. But we actually know what your canopy is. So once it opens, then I can take pictures of the flight under the canopy and the landing and walking back in, all that kind of stuff. That I can take care of.
You're just not jumping out of a plane again.
No. So I
was just like, no.
No. So I have done it 8 times.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I liked your video. Let the bodies hit the floor.
So it was funny. The guy that I jumped with on that, James Harker, we were working together at Robbins, and he made the video. Normally you have to pay like $200 for that fucking video, but he just wore a GoPro on his wrist. Excuse me, and so all that is just him. He's done it with a photographer.
Yeah.
So he knew everything that happened. So he's just filming it with his wrist and all that kind of stuff. And so, once we got done with the jump, he's like, hey, he goes, watch what they do. And I'm like, okay, they would put music and all that. He goes, Bodies would be a great song. I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be a great song. So it was his idea. And so I put the Bodies to the video. But
if I ever do it, you can put Bodies to my
okay.
photo video.
So there is a place about an hour away from here in Thomaston, Georgia, which is Skydive Atlanta. And that's who I did 7 of my 8 jumps with.
Yeah.
Great place, really good people. As a matter of fact, one of my jump masters, one of my instructors when I was going through my AFF, was a instructor at the original place in Locust Grove that I originally jumped. I literally have my jump certificate from there. That place shut down because evidently, rumor has it, the plane was being used for drug smuggling. And one of the rival drug smuggling people or whatever messed up. It's the equivalent of putting sugar in a gas tank. They did it to the airplane and it took off. They had about 10 or 15 jumpers in the airplane.
Oh.
And they crashed. And the majority of them died in the crash because they couldn't get out. And so then the skydive place actually shut down. And he moved.
So now I need to worry about dying in a plane
No,
crash more.
no, because this was back in the 80s. This was back in like 1983.
Okay.
The crash happened in like late 1983, maybe 84.
Oh, okay.
Skydive Atlanta has had a few fatalities, but it wasn't for the plane. It's, the parachute not working. So,
it is a cold dream one day before I die to jump out of a plane. Because I don't know if I really have a fear of heights per se, or if it's the fall. I don't know which one, but I do love being up high. Once I can muster the courage to be up there, I love it. I've never loved it on Matterhorn. I will never love it on Matterhorn because it's a free fall feel. But like the arch, I love being up high on the archway.
Yeah, that was fun.
I don't feel like I'm going to free fall.
Okay, so you do free fall, So I am, just to give you a perspective, I am not afraid of heights.
Yeah.
I don't care. I can be in an airplane. I can be up on the St. Louis Arch. I can be on a fucking bridge. I don't care. Heights don't bother me.
Yeah.
When I was in that airplane for my first tandem jump, we were at 15,000 feet. And when that door is open and there is nothing between me and that door, knowing I am going next, that was absolutely the most fucking petrified I have been in my entire life.
I can imagine so.
Oh my God, it fucking scared me. So, interesting. The week before, we had actually gone to do the jump, and the weather was bad.
Yeah.
So, we kind of got to see the way the place worked and what was going to happen, all that kind of stuff, but we didn't jump.
Yeah.
So we go up the next week, and there's a female friend of mine that was jumping as well, and we're sitting in the briefing room, and the guy's going over. He goes, "All right, they're going to strap you in. They're going to do this. They're going to, once we get up to a certain amount, they're going to tighten everything up, and they're going to be sitting really close to you." And actually, the guy behind me is like, "Hey, if you get a lump in your throat," he said, "you're having fun." He said, "If you feel a lump in your back, I'm having fun." So, and he's like, "All right, so once the door opens and it's your turn," he says, "you're going to shuffle off of the seat." He says, "You're going to walk over and you're going to put your toes over the edge of the airplane."
Yeah.
And Tina, that was the girl that was with me.
Yeah.
She said when they said you're going to put your toes over the edge, she said I lost every bit of color in my body. I turned completely fucking white. And like I said, I am not afraid of heights. But she said I turned completely white.
I bet.
And so you watch my video,
Yeah.
if you listen to me, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. But if you watch my eyes,
Yeah.
I am petrified the entire time.
Yeah.
And we get up there, that door opens, there's some trainees that go out, there's regular jumpers that go out, and then it's the tandem people. And I'm like the first tandem out the door. And, oh my God, we get there. And then, there's no turning around. Once you're up, you're jumping. And so we jump out, and honestly, it probably wouldn't have been so bad, but the goggles they make you wear, they weren't tight. Okay. So as we're falling, the wind is coming up, and it's coming under the goggles, and it is just beating the shit out of my eye because it's going in and then it's just hitting in the goggle and it's just rotating in there, and it is just beating my eye. And James had told me, he said, "Hey, I'm going to tap you he said, I'm going to let you pull the thing after reach around and pull the chute." And see, you can see where, if you watch the video where we're falling and all that, he taps and I'm like that. And he shakes his head like I can fucking see him because he's behind me.
Yeah.
But then, he finally taps me. I reach back and I'm trying to reach for it and I can't actually find it. So he pulls it. Yeah. And then we go. And my eye was so bad that literally I lost vision in it. And it wasn't until, so I had my jump, then Tina had her jump, and then we drove home. And it was about 20 minutes into the drive home, because it's an hour from here. Yeah. About 20 minutes into the drive home, I could actually see out of that eye again. Wow. But I just didn't tell them I couldn't see out of the eye.
Yeah.
But it scared me so bad that I'm like, I have to go back.
Yeah.
And so I scheduled another jump, and James had something going on, so I jumped with somebody else. And it was funny because he was like a surfer dude. He talked like a surfer dude. He looked like a surfer dude. He was fucking amazing. He was such a fun guy. Yeah. But I made sure my shit was tight this time. And when we jumped this time, I wore a heart rate monitor. Because my heart was coming out of my fucking throat the first time.
I bet.
And so I wanted to know what my heart rate was like. So I wore a heart rate monitor the second jump. And just sitting in the airplane, it got to 161.
Wow.
Just sitting there. We jumped. We had a really good jump. We got to go through a cloud, which was really cool. Once we were under canopy and all this. So under canopy, absolutely love that feeling. Love it. It's nice. It's peaceful. It's amazing. I do not like the free fall.
Yeah.
The free fall, you're doing 150 miles an hour. The wind is just rushing through you. You can't hear anything. I just don't dig the free fall, but the damn canopy ride is the most peaceful I've ever been in my entire life.
See, that's the part that I want. I want to do that part.
Yes.
It's not so much that I want a free fall. I want that feeling.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to do a 45 second to, a 1 minute free fall to get to the canopy ride. Because they're not going to do a hop and pop at 15,000 feet. So, honestly, it probably wouldn't have been so bad if my goggles would have been, tight enough on me.
Yeah.
Interesting that the fucking scuba diver didn't know how to set his goggles on right to where it wouldn't fuck up his eyes, but whatever.
You didn't die, so at least you knew how to do that part.
I did not die, and then because I thought maybe I could try to get over that fear, I started taking AFF, which is the Advanced Accelerated Freefall class. And, I did 5 more jumps with them. But I couldn't go up with any regularity. It was, every other month or so, and I couldn't. It was a waste of money is what it was. So,
first I've got to get through a zip line before I try to go jump out of a plane, and I still ain't made it through a zip line yet.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, if you
That's
got
where
issues,
I discovered I had a fear of heights.
yeah, if you got issues with a zip line, you have definitely gonna have issues jumping out of a, actually, you don't have a say-so. So once you get up in the airplane and they strap to you and they sit you down, you're going to fucking go whether you want to or not.
There is that.
But, literally, if it is something you really want to do, let's see.
I will at some point. At some point, I would like to. It'll probably be how I die, too. But,
No. People have, but let's see here. Let's see the prices.
They also say your phobias are based off of how you died in your last life too, or how you might die in your current life.
Oh, really?
So I feel like I probably died falling.
Well, yeah. You never. I'm looking at the prices.
I did have a nasty fall as a kid from up high. That's kind of figure why I have a fear of heights.
So it's.
I know it's hell expensive.
$299.
It's actually cheaper than I thought. I thought it was a lot more than that.
No, so it was $279 when I did it 10 years ago, because I think 2014 was my first tandem, and of course there was a military discount, so I got it for like $179. But it's $299. Here's what you don't fall up under: $2 per pound applies tandem passenger over 220. So they ought to give you minus $2 per pound. But
do I get the kids right?
Yeah, exactly. So you got to be 18. And then let's see. Hand cam package, selfie style. So like what the guy did for me.
Yeah.
Is an extra $169 if you want the video. Now, because I knew the guy, I worked with him, he did that for free. So you say, $169 plus $299, so that's $470 for a video. So honestly, if you're only going to do it once, it's kind of worth it.
I still need to conquer a zip line before I even attempt to apply my card to a jumping out of a plane. But I do want to do it. The want is beyond there. It's just I gotta get there.
Yeah.
We barely got me over Mutterhorn last year.
But I mean, you think about it, yeah, you don't have a choice once you go up there. So it's not like
I
you
know.
have to do anything. You just have to scoot to the end of the bench and get up and walk to the door. They're going to do everything else. And when you're like, no, I don't want to go, they're like, fuck you, we're going. So,
So it's like when you push me down stuff.
yeah, exactly, like down Colossus. But, in
I
fact,
get another go of that at the end of May. I mean, I hope the Charlotte water looked better than it did 2 years ago, but I get another go to go down Colossus.
yeah, so it'll be fine.
I'll have Xander, so I probably will. He doesn't let me back down. He likes to do I act like we've done a bunch of races. We've done one. But I know with the one, it was sweet because he was waiting on me and I was with Lindsay. And so we were behind and he stood there and he waited because he was not doing that finisher obstacle without me. He did the whole race without me, but he was not doing the finisher without me. And it was high and he didn't, he knew that I had done this, but he knew I struggled with height. So it was sweet. He waited to make sure I was okay with the height of the.
So Colossus was the finisher obstacle in Charlotte? Oh.
No, Rugged Maniac.
Oh, rugged.
Xander did it.
The water slide. Yeah.
Yeah, it was sweet because Xander knew how to fear of height,
Yeah.
so he also wanted to make sure I would be okay, which I thought was really
The
sweet.
Accelerator 3.0.
The whole 3 feet tall, that one's fine.
It's 30. It's actually 30 feet. It's actually higher than Colossus.
Is it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it because
So,
that one don't bother
well,
me.
because Colossus goes straight down and then spreads out.
And this has the bouncy house fun.
The Accelerator is a angle all the way down.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
There's a 5 foot difference. Accelerator's 30 foot, Colossus 35.
And at Charlotte, it's the when I was there 2 years ago. Yeah, it was a finisher obstacle.
Yeah. So okay. So I've only seen the finisher obstacle in Atlanta, because in Charlotte it's down the hill in the woods, and then
They've moved it.
Okay, then you have to come up and I want to say
I know the exact spot you're talking about because they still have a Colossus there actually, and they still have that pond of water there.
Yeah.
But it's shut down.
Okay.
So now it's at least 2 years. Now I know it's permanently shut down because when I helped build, I asked about that, and they said that's permanently shut down.
Okay.
And they just haven't taken down the obstacle because they always race that spot.
Yeah.
So all their stuff stays standing there.
Yep.
The only thing they moved, from the video that you did, was Willow World and all of that. Those obstacles they move around the course.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've got a place here. So, actually, they're about an hour north, but it works.
We'll see where I'm at 50. The goal is to do it when I'm 50.
That's like 10 years from now.
Exactly.
No.
I've got lots of time to work on my zip line issue.
Hell no. Because I'll be 70. No. Wow.
Well, I mean, let's get me over zip lines. Let's get me up and down Mutterhorn again next year.
Mutterhorn's not a big deal. What's bad about Mutterhorn is the fact that it presses you against the top.
At Worlds, it was so tight.
Yeah, it was tight. So there's a place in Georgia. Hang on, which is why I keep this stuff up. Banning Mills.
Now, I did tell you about the time I tried to zip line back in 2020, right?
Yes. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I got to zip line first, because that's when I realized I actually have acrophobia. Okay. If I can't zip line without almost vomiting up 2 baby zips,
so
I'd like to not vomit while I'm free falling.
Yeah. There is a place from here. It's about 2.5 hours. It looks fairly close. Okay, it's between Carrollton and Atlanta. Where's Fairburn?
Fairburn's where we do Tough Mudder at.
We do. We
in
do.
Georgia?
We do Tough Mudder, and that's where the Ren Fair is as
Yeah.
well. All right, so there's Fairburn. So it is directly west of Fairburn, called Banning Mills. And Banning Mills is a huge ziplining place in Georgia.
Okay.
And it's the ziplining place that it baby steps you.
Yeah.
You get up to this one area and you zip line. Then you go to a taller area and you zip line. And then you go to a taller area. And so they step you up to, ultimately the highest. I've never been there, but I know people that have. That they step you up to different heights.
So it's not like where I tried to zip line over the tallest waterfall in North Carolina.
Right. Not
Where
right
I went
off the
really
bat.
big.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
right
I
off
went
the bat.
huge.
No, you work your way there.
I think that one, because we purchased the top tier package and it was like 18 zips plus 3 swinging bridges and then like 2 spiral suspended bridges, then the tallest waterfall. Like I picked the biggest package. I was going big. I went home after 2 zips.
Go big or go home.
I sure did go home and was out $200+.
Yeah, hang on.
There was something we forgot to do when I came down. We'll have to try again, Jim.
Oh,
we didn't get our picture.
the fucking Holy Grail thing.
I brought it too. It was with me all weekend in my suitcase. I'll bring it in June.
All right.
At this rate, we're just gonna end up doing it at Worlds next year, and then we'll just make a 2-year video.
That'll
eventually.
Yeah. I mean, there again, we can both take a picture with our thing, and then you can Photoshop them together or whatever.
There you go. So you'll take pictures from the ground while I'm jumping, and then I'll take pictures of you one day with some great whites, and I'll be on the boat while you be in the water with those.
You will not be on the boat. Because even if you don't get in the water,
yeah,
it's still a $3,000 trip.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll still be on the boat because I'll be alive while I take your picture.
No, you won't
stay alive.
You will not even be on the boat because just to be on the boat is $3,000.
And you get to live.
That's fucking ridiculous. I really, really want to do that one day.
I think you should.
I think I should too, but it's just the money. I would get in the water with great whites with no issues at all.
Yeah. I said that most of my dreams past jumping out of a plane, it's all expensive stuff. It's out of this country stuff.
So, and I've done a lot of that already. So, some of the places like where you want to go, I haven't really thought about, like with Greece. I've never worried about going to Greece. A lot of people like to go to Rome and think I've already been there.
Yeah, it's Rome is on there, but it's not a priority. I've got a priority list and Rome isn't on it. Amsterdam, Netherlands are on my priority list, but not for the flower aspect. Just because the pictures, the history I've read, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I was like, as long as I'm a government employee, I can't go to Amsterdam. So.
No, you can't. Climbing Killa was never really a dream for me. It was Julie's dream, and I love her, so I wanted to help. But then when I did talk to that bariatric lady with BeastNet, and I talked about how I could barely climb Pilot Mountain at the beginning, Pilot Mountain, I told her the story. I went back and I was like, wait, that would be really cool to barely climb, that to all of a sudden I'm climbing Kilimanjaro and helping an adaptive athlete. Wait a minute, now I kind of want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be cool. So that did become, but it's just kind of one of those, if the money can be raised. I'm going to have to, like everybody else, crowdfund and there's a lot of us for the 27 trip that are all saying we're going to have to crowdfund. So
Yeah, because
That'll
I
be a
mean,
crowdfunder.
that's what, $6,000 per person.
I don't know.
It may not be that much. It may be $3,000.
I don't think. I think it's three, because I know the second year they did it, I was invited and I priced it, and I went off the price they paid the year prior, and it
Yeah.
was about $3,000. And there was a few people who were supposed to.
Right, there we go. So, probably cut that out too. So,
You're good. No, I haven't felt much soreness from a workout, but I went to raise my arm up, and I'm like, ow.
shit, we've got. Well, I mean, I got to cut some shit out of here, but we've got almost 2 hours worth of bullshitting. From thinking,
I told you.
you
was
couldn't
fine.
you couldn't even fucking talk tonight to almost 2 hours of bullshitting.
I told you I just needed to bounce.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm
just
glad you
zoned out,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. So, I guess real quick, we got Spooky Empire coming up in June.
Yeah, I went from not going to cons for 13 years to bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I didn't do them for fucking 59 years, and then all of a sudden, I do September Silver Scream Con, then we do, Tampa Bay Screams, then we do Days of the Dead, then we do Spookala.
I would like to plan an October one with you guys. I've got two weekend dates I can't go out of town, which is Halloween and then the October 10th weekend I can't go out of town.
Yeah.
But that would be a fun Halloween to do a Halloween one.
So, like I said, our Renfest area does the Haunted Village. And so it's a neat little, I mean, it's, literally a couple hours, type deal.
Yeah. We could do our own horror convention themed weekend.
Yeah, but it's kind of neat for that. But then, we got to think. I've looked at Lexington. I just don't know because it's 8 hours away. So that's quite a long ways, but it is Robert Englund. It is the real Annabelle.
Well, it's not like we haven't done a lengthy road trip before.
I know.
And I could drive this one. Didn't you say our paths would cross for this one?
Our paths don't cross whatsoever until we get to Lexington.
So
there is no crossing.
Then it would be just like Chicago, one of those it's worth going out of the way for because there's no way to avoid it. Except for I would drive this one. I just come pick you up and I just drive it.
There's no way because I am 7 hours from you, and then Lexington is 8 hours from me. So that is
so you would come to me.
That is 15 hours.
No, we would break it up. It would be like when we did Tampa, I would come a day early to sleep.
Yes, but Tampa is like for you, I am on the way to Tampa.
Yeah.
So that works. But for Lexington, Kentucky, neither one of us are on the way for the other. We literally, if you went one way and I went the other, we would never cross paths until we got to Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So there is no way to actually make that one work. Except
it would make more sense for you to come here because I'm an hour closer. But yeah.
7 hours to your house. But then
to go
you've
7
got
hours.
Right, exactly, where I could go 8 hours straight up.
Yeah.
Because going to your house, it would be 7 hours to your house. Okay, now 7 hours over across, so they're 14 hours I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Whereas I could go 8 hours and be done with the travel.
Yeah.
So
but
we
I also
really need to talk. We need to teach you geography.
We had a 13-hour opportunity. We were just
really need to work on that. So yeah, I know. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's October, so I'm not.
But I can do I could do a 7-hour drive by myself.
Yeah.
I mean that's an annoying race weekend. I call it because I have to drive that far.
Yeah, and I'm not overly positive I'm willing to travel 8 hours, even to see Annabelle.
But also see what else is going to pop up because you got a lot between now and then, and you do have this pop up things from
Yeah.
conventions.
Well, and to
So
me, Robert England is almost too expensive to even deal with.
he is bonkers expensive to me.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, so 8 hours is a bit. I even think because I had another idea, but I don't think it's in using your word striking zone either. There's a. I would love to do one of those horror themed amusement parks at night, like Busch Gardens does Hollow Screams. Both Tampa and Williamsburg does Hollow
Yeah.
Screams, and their crap looks so much
Yep.
fun. Of
So
course, I
I
would love to do Universal, but damn, their costs.
somebody told me that Halloween was friggin' amazing at Busch Gardens.
I want to go so
Yeah.
bad.
Then you got the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. But yeah, you're right. The cost is. I didn't realize how much it costs. But Busch Gardens is doable.
And Tampa's not not as far from you as the Williamsburg, Virginia is.
No, because like I said, there's some places in just North Carolina, which are 7 to 9 hours away. I mean, Fayetteville's almost 9 hours away.
Yeah.
So, but Tampa's only 5 from here.
Yeah. So like
So,
Busch Gardens in Virginia is 4.5 for me, but for you, it would be probably about 7 to 8 hours.
yeah.
But Tampa's closer, and I haven't been to Tampa yet, and I've been wanting to go to
Yeah,
Tampa.
and I haven't been to Tampa Busch Gardens yet either. But there again, I mean, if we decide to do something like that, because they usually start in September and go through October,
Yep.
we could definitely do a long weekend of that. And
Instead of a
again,
Halloween con.
yeah, same as always. You come down, Thursday, and then we drive down Friday. We got Saturday, Sunday to do the park or whatever, and then come back. So
I have to check and see the prices because we were originally planning the Spookala. We talked about Busch Gardens.
yeah,
They cost more in Tampa than Williamsburg. So see what their Hallow Scream costs are. Because I know the Hallow Scream cost at Williamsburg was like, I want to say it was like 150 a night or something like that. But for example, one day, like say a Saturday at Busch Gardens in Virginia is like 100. At Tampa, it was like 130 to 140 for
yeah.
one day. So
Well,
it's a bit of a price difference.
absolutely. But I mean, you got to look at all right. Williamsburg, Virginia, fucking Tampa, Florida. In
Yeah.
October, who's going to have the better weather?
And see, I'm also wondering this, since they'll have to be fighting against Universal Halloween nights, are they going to have lower rates and offer better deals to also fight against to get more incentive to come to them versus spend all your money at Universal? Because that's going to be the more expensive route to go to.
Yeah.
Or it might mean less crowds. Because the one thing I did see because I've watched the Hollow Scream videos, the crowds are insane, at least in Virginia.
Yeah.
But since you've got that Universal thing, it might not be that bad.
It's still going to be bad no matter where you go. Although, I will send you a link. Do you know who the Grim Life Collective is on YouTube? Okay. They're a couple that actually used to be based in Savannah. Now they're in California. But they basically travel around the world for weird shit.
Yeah.
They got a media pass for Universal Epic Universe.
Oh.
And so they did a video within Dark Universe or Dark,
Yeah.
wherever the monsters are.
Yeah.
They can't film the ride, but they can film everything
Yeah.
else. So they did a video of that. And then they went to the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So the classic monsters just,
I love them.
that's great for me.
I love classics.
And I thought, oh, this is really cool. I was seeing all that. But when they walked in the Ministry of Magic,
Yeah.
it literally looks like you are walking into the Ministry of Magic in the movie.
Oh, I want to
It
go to
is
Universal so bad.
Freaking ridiculous of how big this place is.
Yeah.
So I will
I want
send
to
you the
go.
link to that video.
Yeah.
That is, it's about a 41-minute video,
Yeah.
but because you get to see a lot of the stuff in Dark Universe, you get to see a lot of stuff in the Ministry of Magic. Evidently, they may have some other videos coming with Train Your Dragon and Mario and
Yeah.
all that stuff, but
Yeah.
those two are almost basically worth the price of admission just to see those two.
Holy crap. Yeah, see, MonsterVerse is the one that I want with Epic Verse. And then, of course, Riders of Berg, I want the How to Train Dragon, but definitely MonsterVerse. Because from what Jarva was telling me, the first few years, you're only going to be able to pick one per visit.
Right.
And that's just to make sure there's no overcrowding or emptying of older parks. So that's why he was like, wait till they've been out for 5 years. And that's the best time to visit, honestly. So
So
you can get it all.
my nephew actually went, has already been. They got to go because
Yeah.
they're season pass holders. And
Yeah.
so they got to go. And he was telling me both of them were, he was telling me, he's like, Ministry of Magic is like being in a freaking city.
I bet.
And it is unbelievable. So you need to watch this video.
I will.
So
I will, definitely.
yeah, Grim Life is a really good, because they do all kinds of stuff. They went to, I mean, they've done just all kinds of stuff. Both, like they'll do like Aleister Crowley's church over in Italy or England or wherever it was, and
That's
they
cool as hell.
they've been to Spawn Ranch, and they've been, I mean, just all kinds of stuff. So they
That's
are
cool.
yeah,
I
they
know
are
who Aleister Crowley is. That's actually really fucking
yeah,
cool.
exactly. So they are
Damn.
somebody you really need to subscribe to, because they do a bunch of dark shit, but they do a bunch of just, cool stuff too. So they're really
Yeah.
cool to watch.
I'll check them out. And I'm also going to look up the Hollow Screams for Tampa from last year. Because I know that what I have seen about Tampa is it's a whole different setup. It's a whole
Yeah.
different type of worlds. Because in Virginia, you've got Scotland, Ireland, Canada, France, Rome, Paris, but you don't have any of those places over in Tampa. So everything there is new. So it's no copycat rights.
I got you.
So that will be, yeah, I want to look that up. That would be a
Okay.
fun one to do.
Yeah,
It's not
we can do
out
that.
of strike zone.
We could definitely do it. So
But yeah, I totally took over for Andrew. I got tired of hearing about it because I'm like, I've been hearing about this podcast for years now, 4 years. And then you finally get it going. And of course, we're going to probably edit this out too. But
yeah, we are.
I'm just like, fuck it, I'm taking over. It started with the ones where we did the Holy Grail.
Yep.
And then I was like, we play off each other too well. So
No, it does. It works out. It really does. So
because there might be some times where it's like, yes, you want a podcast, but your mood's not there. And that's where you need somebody to bounce off. Like, yes, I want a podcast, but my mood itself wasn't there. I need to bounce off somebody.
like tonight. And
Yeah.
I mean, we are, where are we? I keep losing my time. 2 hours and 15 minutes in. Now, of course, I'll edit it down. It'll be shorter than this, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, you for not wanting to really, be in the mood to do it, to get over 2 hours into it is really good.
Because I was bouncing that irritability because again, I think it starts at 1, which is when I think Lexapro leaves my system because I am in a very volatile mood. And it's just a feeling under your skin that you cannot scratch it, and it irritates you and makes you even more irritable. So yeah, I was a little uncertain how I was going to go with it, but I was like, I'll push through. I'll get music going. I'll get in a mood.
No, you did awesome. I'm seeing how
Thank
far
you.
away she is from here.
But yeah, definitely want to do a live podcast, like short bit at a convention at some point. And I'm excited about this one in the cosplay because even if something were to happen and my mom would be unable to, I'm still going to be doing thrift store crawls because I'm going to keep that in the back pocket.
Yeah.
But I don't foresee because she's retired. So all she does is remodel her house over and over again.
All right. So Ann's wanted me to keep this going until she got home, but
Yeah.
evidently there is a crash on the interstate because she is doing 2 miles an hour on the interstate. So
No, yeah, yeah, because I know my kids are on their way home.
yeah,
I We're all slowly navigating to Life 360. Alex is on it. That's the only one of three kids that got on it. We left the skating rink because Nikki was getting really overwhelmed. Could we head to Walmart to hang out a bit longer? Oh, they're going to Walmart. Okay.
yeah. But she is on the
But
highway doing 10 miles an hour.
yeah, we all got battery savers on, so nobody can see where anybody is right now.
That happens too. So
But like
360
I
is
told,
great. It really is. It's a good it's a it's a really good app to just be able to keep up with them.
yeah. Well, it's like I told Chris. I said I have battery saver on. I said, but really, me and him only want it for when I travel. I'm like, so when I'm getting in the car to go to Raleigh, turn on battery, and I just ordered a charger for my phone for the concert. I'm like, so I'll have a charger with me, and I'll turn the battery thing off, so then you can keep up with my
Yeah, I
location.
mean, get like an external battery. So that's what I do when
Yeah,
I go to concerts. I have an external battery with me. So when mine starts getting low, I just plug it in, and then I have it for the rest of the time.
yeah. I'm really excited about this concert. I've been trying to figure out what to wear all day, actually. I've been real girl about it, but I'm very excited
You know
about
what?
it.
It's gonna be dark. It don't matter.
No, I'm just dressing for the temperatures because it's going to be in the 80s and we're going to be inside and you're going to have all that body heat. So I'm like trying to dress for temperature and comfort.
I got you. Yep.
So I'm just like, t-shirt probably going to get too hot, things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can go on a whole rampage. But my freaking sports bra I just ordered, I have rebuilt my back enough that I just ordered a month and a half ago. It is too small in the back. That's why I was getting a migraine, and I kept telling you I had the migraine the whole time I was talking to Christopher Judge. My head was pounding. And so as soon as I took it off my neck, though, immediately the tension, because it was here. My traps, I guess, it's just they're too large. But where I feel it is there and under my arms. And I'm like, this really sucks. 'Cause I just bought a brand new sports bra, but I have finally rebuilt my back from the injury to the size that it was at.
Yeah. So just get bigger and you'll be good.
Yeah, but so I'm happy I'm back to my original size before injury.
There you go.
Actually, I think it's actually a little bit bigger up here because I had to focus so much up here.
Yeah.
So that's a suck, but that was a nice achievement to feel today because I put it on and I was like, okay, it really is that my back has gotten back to where it was.
That's always a good feeling.
Yep, because I went down in top sizes when my back got smaller. That's how I knew I lost muscle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like you said, when you feel it in the clothes, because I I have, at one point, because you lectured me a lot on it, I was weighing, multiple times a day. Like right at the beginning, I was meeting all of y'all and I was racing. I think I had told you I used to weigh like multiple times a day. I'd weigh
Yeah.
anywhere from 7 to 11 times a day. I have not weighed. That's how long it's been because I really don't know.
Good. Good for you.
That's been the whole thing this year. I have barely touched that scale all year. I have no clue what's going on.
Good.
It's all in the clothes. So that's been a big accomplishment that I've worked on. But so now we're just attempting to wait for Ansley.
We're not gonna make it.
Is she still
Cause
going 10 miles an hour?
let's see.
Because I'm probably gonna when we finish this, I'm gonna have the rest of my pizza or
She's at
some more of my pizza.
she was at 4, now she's at 1, and now she's at
Yeah.
0. So
Yeah, no, we're not gonna make it.
nope, exactly. So it's good. I'll edit the stuff in, but send me the pictures of you and Chris Judge,
Yeah.
and
Um,
I'll add them in at
you
the
may have
end.
seen you may have seen stuff he's in. It's just he's gotten bigger because of God of War. And that's what surprised me. I thought there'd be a couple of us God of War guys there. I didn't expect it to be everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Just about
And
everybody.
as a fan, my heart was through the roof. I was like, this is the recognition it has been needed since, gosh, 2000 and freaking 2005. But let's see, where's his? Usually we go into Google. Oh, there it is. Movies and shows. Yeah, it's a lot of sci-fi. He's in Dark Knight Rises though. But yeah, mainly he's known for Stargate.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. So,
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now, it's like Stargate, 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 Stargate again,
right.
Dark Knight, and then Mega Shark. So if you've seen Mega Shark, and just a lot of random, B-rated stuff.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I fairly know decently your taste of movies and shows, and I'm not seeing anything you would have seen them in because it is predominantly Stargate and then
Yeah.
that one Dark Knight. But I hope that, especially if I was told accurately, because I won't believe things till they happen, rumor mills, that if he is the one that they're casting for Kratos, you're at least going to watch the show because I know they're going to pick it up in the 2018, which means it's going to be in Viking land. And he goes to war against the gods there. Because the first one is about a war that shouldn't have even started. Baldur thought he was going to kill a giant from Jotunheim, but it wasn't a giant. It was Kratos. The giant was Kratos' wife who had just passed. So then he starts a war with the god of war who had taken out the entire Atlantean gods, Greek gods, and the Titan gods, and the Fates. He done killed them all. So they start a war, and he finishes it, which starts the next war.
Okay.
So like right now, I'm gearing up. This game, I'm gonna have a showdown with Odin at the end of this game, and so I had a showdown with Baldur and one other one, and now I'm gonna have a showdown with Thor as well. I already had my showdown with Freya because I killed her son, and you just can't kill her son. She don't take it well.
That's some straight geek shit there. So,
Yeah, but you do like the Viking geek shit. So
I
that's the
do.
only reason
I
I
do.
recommend this show is because I give Corey Barlog this much, which is the creator. So this is where I am the art level that you are with geek, because I know creators' names of this game, but it's the only game I know creator names. But Corey Barlog, they did their history with it because the Viking stuff, they go by straight mythology, 100% accuracy. So I do give it that. That's why I tried to find you clips to show you the Viking aspect, but I'm like, this is gonna be geek shit. He's gonna get so bored and just want to blow his brains out at work.
No, all good. All good. So,
That's why I just like the show. I do recommend, and it will be Prime.
all right. Well, let me know.
Probably got another year,
Yep.
but Christopher Judge did say he was going to be cast in it,
He did. He did say that.
and
So,
I did check his Twitter. And he posted and has it pinned. I am Chris. He said, I am Kratos. And he has that pinned with the Prime thing. So I'm like,
that'd be cool. That'd be
it would
cool.
be even great is that they got the actor who voiced the kid. That would be pretty cool too. Because I've watched them with shows, and when they do awards together, they play off each other in character at times. So it's real cute.
Cool. Well, I mean, I'll definitely check it out. I like anything
Yeah.
worth watching. So,
I
but
know you laugh at my geekdom.
I laugh at anybody's geekdom. So I laugh at my own geekdom sometimes. So yeah, literally, you know.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to be big on the game, but I'm going to play it, and I'll let you know how it is at
That's
least.
fine. That's
But
fine.
I'm interested that they put it on Switch. That's what's really, I'm like, really, the Switch? This would be
Yeah.
interesting. But I'm trying to get into horror games in general now, as all my other style of games are open world, which I don't like.
Nope.
Horror games are all strategic plot driven. So I'm going to try horror games.
Nope. Nope. Like I said, I tried a couple of horror games on the VR. Nope.
But you tried VR. I'm not VR in it.
Yeah.
I'm just PS4.
I mean,
so
if I
that's a
was
different
doing
ballgame.
it here on the PC, that'd be something. VR, Hell no.
No, and so see, I'm not going to recommend VR. I'll recommend a PC game if I think it's good, but I
Yeah.
won't recommend.
Yeah, VR, no way. So.
But Until Dawn is one that's on my list to check out. I don't know if you've seen the movie trailer yet. I watched it again today because I showed Chris. It looks really good. And again, with Cabin Fever, I can't wait for you to watch it. That's why I sent you that, because I was like, holy crap, because since it's so similar, it'll do you good for basically having watched the first.
Okay, I'll definitely watch it.
And if you don't mind spoilers, after you've watched the first, I can tell you the differences, because
I'm actually going to watch the remake first.
Well, no, I know, but the first one you have to pay for still.
Oh yeah, so I'll watch the remake.
Original.
Yeah, I'll watch the remake right now. So.
But what sucks is to watch the original and to watch the second one, you need stars. To watch the third one, I'll check, because I think you can watch the third one on a free one, but I'll double check. But I'm going to go back and be watching. So I'm going to be in Horrorland a lot tomorrow. So.
Okay.
With a brief break, because I've got to go play with the in-laws. After like a year of not being over there, I've agreed to go play with the in-laws.
That's a good decision. So.
Actually, the call I got was, I know you don't really like them. I'm like, it's not that I don't like them, it's that they don't like me, and I'm stubborn, and I don't want to go where they don't like me. And then they were like, can you smoke some flower first? Okay.
All right. Whatever.
Yay! They're like, I was like, hey, you want me to come over on Easter?
Like, twist my arm. That's like next week though, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, I'll come over on Easter too. You want me over on that weekend? That's a great weekend to have me over.
Exactly. So.
I actually never celebrate Easter because it always falls around Jax's birthday. But for once, Easter is the opposite. So I get to enjoy Easter this year.
There you go. All right. Well, you got anything else before we cut this off?
Nope. I mean, I'll probably send you some. Of course, I'll send you pictures and videos of the Disturbed concert, so we can always throw that up. Because I'll have a bit. I'll have a bit to talk about. Because I did message Trisha about the show, and she did send spoilers. And oh my gosh, it's worth it. It's definitely one of those. I hate that I'm going by myself. But if it's one to go by yourself, it's one to go by yourself and pop to get the closest seat you can afford.
Right.
So I'm glad I've got the seats that I've got, because it's Disturbed. Every song seems to be a ginormous show.
Okay.
So
that'd be cool.
So I'll have pictures of that.
All right.
I was gonna go do freaking Woods of Terror, but like every year it's the same freaking weekend as Fayetteville. So, and then from there, we'll have Spooky Empire to post about.
Yep, we do. All right, cool.
All I got.
All right. Well,
bye.
Then I'm going to cut it off.
Okay.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the OEN podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. If you have any discussion ideas, feel free to drop us a line. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify at OEN Podcast. Have a great day, and we'll talk at you in the next one.